What's up, men? Welcome to the Male Cartel podcast. Let's get started.
Do you think men are important? Like for what?
Men are not meant to be dominant. Men are meant to be submissive.
Life's too short to exercise. I'm just going to be honest.
It's okay to be fat.
Dispelling toxic masculinity and really redefining what it means to be a man. Men can cry. So it's okay to be weak. It's okay to be weak.
I'm telling you right now, not everybody wants to see you win.
You seem to be more woman than you are man. You don't have any manly qualities.
You give them this message that it's okay to be a man.
It's not okay, it's necessary. How are we going to do without men? You look around the city here, you see all these buildings go up, these men, they're doing impossible things.
It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Be a dangerous man. Being dangerous is not being a threat. They're two different things. You can't be a good man if you're not a dangerous man. You say one disrespectful thing to my wife, I am not only willing, but I'm able to inflict great bodily damage.
I'm going to do everything in my power to become a victor and not a victim. I can't explain it, but you better feel me. Winners win and losers lose. I can't explain it any better than that. I don't know how it happens, but winners win. And if you create a culture of losing, if you keep being a victim, if you keep letting losing happen to you, if you keep letting people do you and treat you any kind of way, it's going to become a culture. What's the matter with you? There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Here's your host, Nick and Shane.
Welcome back to episode 52, guys.
Yeah, we back. I think we're going to jump straight into this thing, Nick.
Yeah, we ended last week in the middle of a conversation on honor, and hopefully that was beneficial to some guys, and we encourage guys to kind of do some self-inventory to find out what was at the root of who they are, some of their virtues, some of their kind of moral code, because really that's the root of what our honor is built out of. Yeah. So hopefully that was beneficial to some guys.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I hope so too.
But we're going to jump right back in. We've got another clip that we want to really build off of from Alison Armstrong. We listened to one of her reels last episode, and we're going to play her again, and then we're going to kind of discuss it and go a little bit deeper in conversation. So y'all listen to Alison, and then we will discuss it.
Men will keep doing for other people what's appreciated. They need to be appreciated a lot. Admiration and appreciation. It's their fuel. It's what makes what they do worth doing. So much of what stops happening is because we expect them to do it. And so we think they don't deserve appreciation for doing something they just should do. So we don't appreciate them.
We stop saying thank you.
We stop being thank you.
That was powerful. She said we stopped being thankful.
What's your initial thoughts on
that video? Yeah, I like it. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the fuel, but I would say I like to be appreciated. And as speaking from my wife perspective, like she don't have to tell me she appreciates me. She can just show me. You know what I'm saying? So as long as she shows me she's appreciated, that ain't nothing about it. If she walked in and said thank you and kissed me, that kiss is going to last way longer than that. Thank you, I promise you that. But that's because my love language is physical touch, and so like I really care about that. So I thought it was good. Whether women, I think the angle's coming from like women and like their thoughts and what they should do for us, helping the women to understand men, but being appreciative. But I would say that we're bound differently. What you think?
I guess the question would be what she means by fuel.
Well, that would be we need that defined.
Yeah,
probably.
Because I think about just how most men, and once again, we can only speak in general terms. If your wife's telling you thank you or showing you thank you for something specific, I think it propels you, like you're not going, and I think this goes back to honor, and that's what we're continuing the conversation on. An honorable man is going to do what's right, regardless of if they're being told thank you.
All right, so you just said that image popped in my head. Can I share it?
Yeah.
All right, that's like you as a dad. You take care of your family, and when your son wants something for his birthday, and you worked really hard to provide that, and then he looks up at you, he ain't got to say nothing. He just knows Dad took care of me. That's all you need, bro.
Yeah. Or just the excitement.
Just the excitement. Yeah. You're like, it was worth it me working overtime.
Right.
It was way worth it me working overtime.
So you're going to do, but he didn't say thank you, or let's just say you go cut the grass and it's just expected. Oh, Shane cuts the grass. No thank you. No appreciation. Next time the grass needs to be cut, you're still going to cut the grass. A dishonorable man, a man that does not operate by honor, would go, well, you don't thank me, so I'm not doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Which would be no different than a wife who would go, well, you don't thank me for dinner, I'm not going to cook it. Yeah. How many men don't thank their wives for maybe cooking supper for them? I'm not saying that only wives have to cook. I'm just saying in some settings, sometimes a wife gets to stay at home or whatever, she might, as the husband comes home, have dinner ready for him, or maybe that's what she is passionate about, so she does that. But she wouldn't go necessarily. Some might, well, you don't thank me for cooking, so I'm just not going to cook anymore. So I think an honorable man, based on what she is talking about and what we talked about previous episode, would do the right thing whether or not you're being appreciated. However, and maybe you want to listen to this episode with your wife, I think the appreciation does propel a man.
That's right.
Because if my wife tells me thank you for something, it's motivation to want, oh, you appreciated that. Because I think we are hardwired to want to serve our wives, to want to help them, to want to do good to them. Provider. I don't think they always understand that and comprehend that. I heard someone else talking about, that's why men always will, like if you're going out to eat or something, wants to know what the wife wants, because we want to make them happy. I really could care less as long as it's not like sushi,
Amen,
where
bro.
we eat. So I want to make her happy. I care about what she wants. And so I think that propels us when there's an appreciation, because it recognizes what you're doing. And so it motivates you to want to go, that helped you, that you appreciated that, I'll do it even more. I think what we're talking about, though, is for men not to be this hyper emotional. I hate to say feminine, but
I was about to say, is that a feminine trait, bro?
I don't know. That's
I don't know if I'm throwing shade on some men, because some of these guys hate my guts. I don't know if it's a feminine trait, bro, but I would call it when
childish.
I looked at a grown man before. Same thing was happening. I said, bro, you showing some very feminine traits right now. And then he was like, what? He got so upset. I don't know if he listens.
Let's be fair, because I just said wives and women would not do the right thing. Honorable women. Let's say childish.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah.
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 JV.
JV.
Junior varsity.
Yeah, you JV, bro.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts along that?
Oh, I got so many thoughts. Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I think that, we should never, I think I posted this before. I said we never should look for recognition. We should never look for recognition in something that we are already supposed to do. And so meaning that we do what we do. We're the man. We take care. We do that. We also have feelings, all that stuff. We want to hear a thank you, to know that I think sometimes a thank you just lets us know too. For many of us, lets us know a thank you is like, it's like a pulse check. It's like they're just dropping in to say, hey, you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You're headed in the right direction. I like that. Sometimes I do that on the drive. My wife, she's a navigator. I'm the driver, because I can drive better than her, but she can navigate better than me too. She can look at a map. She's really gifted in that. And so I said, we headed right. I think we headed the right direction. And she'll look and she'll go, yeah, we're headed the right direction. I think sometimes that's all that is. A thank you, appreciation is just like, I'm heading the right direction. I'm still gonna go in that direction regardless but because I feel this is the right thing to do. But sometimes that's a super positive thing. But more and more in culture today where we see a lot of men, and it could be diet, bro. It could be diet. I don't know. But it could be more hobbies, more things to play with, more things to get us distracted, make us weak. But I do see, though, the correlation with when there's a lot of men, too, that just goes, well, she ain't hold her end of the bargain, so I ain't got to hold mine.
Yeah, like contract mentality.
And like a contract. But love isn't like that.
Yeah.
You love somebody, they love you. If you love and expect to get something from somebody, that's a contract. That's a negotiation. Like, you're not, that's not out of servanthood. That's not out of like your role as a husband. That's not, and it's definitely not love. Because we know what 1 Corinthians talks about 13. So that doesn't even look like. What are your thoughts?
Well, I had a question popped in my mind because I have a thought, but before that, you work with young people a lot.
Oh yeah,
more closely than I do. Do you think some of this? So I was thinking, I was pushing back against the feminine, mentality.
Oh, yeah. You're nice.
Said child JV. Could some of this mentality be because we have over the last several, maybe generation, made our young people the center of the universe? Everything revolves around them. So now they think they are entitled to appreciation. They're entitled to this. So if they don't get it, then I'm going to shut down. Now, as a man, if I don't get appreciation, I don't get shown, gratitude, then I'm going to take my ball. I'm going to isolate. I'm going to get depressed, and I'm going to shut down and not do what I should do because you didn't make me the center of the universe.
Yeah, there was a study that was done just based off what Nick's talking about. I'll have to try to find it. And it was talking very similar to this, but it was about learned behavior. And so you think about like, millennials and raising kids, and right now would be older people would be millennials, so it would be Gen X / boomers. Well, somehow it reaches this level where society, where there is and you actually see it too. Like honestly, if you go look at teenagers today and look back when they were little, or if you want to be super smart, you can look at middle schoolers and just trace it back to COVID.
Oh yeah.
So when they go through the season or of crisis, parents just like make them the center of the world. Some people do that naturally because they have trauma, their own trauma, as a male or a female, whatever. And so they're like, well, my kids will never go through what I've gone through. So like you said, make the center of that. So when that happens, that's wrong because God's design, that's what we believe biblically, like that's it's the husband and the wife goes, as the family goes. And so you make them center of the world so they get accustomed to that. So you're imprinting in the kid. And then you're modeling and actually giving to them what they really want. So you're feeding this thing. And healthy things grow. I mean, whatever you feed grows. And so it grows. Well, then guess what? That little joker or that Miss Joker, she grows up. They grow up to be young adults where they think everything kid around. And then actually they come in for premarital. And you stand before them and you go, as us, that's our job, Nick and I. And then you go, you just look at a couple and you're like, man, we got a long way to go, man. A long way to go. And so I think that has a whole lot to do with that as well. I think it's like a mix because those who did grow up in a good home, it's going to be a little bit different. Or like parents that are proactive and not making decisions. But I do believe, man, a lot of this is learned behavior as well.
Yeah. Well, from a traditional sense, when I think of honor, I looked up some of these just to have them in front of me. We would think of, and these are kind of remind me of some of the movies that I grew up watching.
For sure.
Rambo, of course, but like a knight in medieval chivalry, protecting the weak, showing courage, faith, and courtesy, often at personal risk, of harm. A Victorian era gentleman upholding self-control, hard work, being thrifty, chivalry towards women, and refusing debt or being frivolous as being shameful. Those things as being shameful. I'm gonna earn my own way. I'm gonna pay cash, that type thing. And then, there was actually a movie called, was it The Last Samurai or
Last Samurai with
Samurai?
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. A samurai following Bushido. Hope I said that right. Not Bullshido, but Bushido.
Yeah, Bullshit would be what I do.
That would be showing absolute loyalty to his Lord, like who he responds to. Now, for us as Christians, we have our Lord, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
But showing bravery in battle and willingness to commit seppuku, which is what have always been familiar with the samurai. Like they would rather than be captured and face defeat in battle, they would rather commit suicide. They'd rather take their own life than to be defeated by an enemy. There's a story even with the Jews in I think it's Masada, where the Romans were coming after them, and this is a place they take their soldiers for education and stuff like that, and the whole group of them committed suicide. And I forget how many there were, but they talk about like, how is that chivalrous? How is that like honor? Well, they knew that if they were to basically remain alive and be captured, their women would be enslaved and raped, and their children the same. So they took their lives and then they committed suicide at the end, so that they felt that was better than their women being brutalized and raped and enslaved and things like that, because the men would have been killed. So they couldn't have done anything anyway. So they felt like it was better for them. So when I saw that with the samurai, I looked that up, and that's what I want us to spend the last few minutes kind of discussing. And we'll read these off because I think they're all connected with honor. And the first one, I don't know that I'm going to try these actual words, mio, L-M-E-I-Y-O, but in English it's honor. And basically it says warriors have only one judge of honor and character, and this is themselves. This is where we would disagree.
Yeah.
Because we believe Christ is king and he is the judge of our honor. However, we're responsible for that. We do have a responsibility to that, and we are the one who has to enact that. However, decisions they make and how these decisions are carried out is a reflection of whom they truly are. So we really agree with that out of our character, our virtues. And so that's honor. That's what we're talking about. So I'm going to jump to the next one, and then we can discuss these. REI, respect. True warriors have no reason to be cruel. They do not need to prove their strength. Warriors are courteous even to their enemies. Warriors are not only respectful for their strength in battle, but also by their dealings with others. I'm going to get your thoughts on this, but I struggle with this because it's hard to respect people who are not respectable. So that's an area, like we talk about doing an inventory, where I could be respectful to someone, and I have been respectful to people who have even like lied behind my back, brought harm to me. But at the same time, it is easy to be disrespect a disrespectful person. So what's your thoughts on that?
I think, I actually kind of like it. I just think it's like leading with kindness and all that stuff.
Does that include roasting? Can we not roast people?
No, you can roast
Okay.
because when it says kindness leads to repentance, that kindness is kind of like showing mercy.
Yeah.
So like, it's not saying politeness, and so I would say I probably struggle more with this than the others, but how I view it as being like, if I had some major issue with someone who's being super disrespectful and loud, that's like, I will gently, firmly look at them and let them know, hey, this not going to be tolerated.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was very nice to them, showed respect to them by not just punching me in the face.
Yeah.
So that's how I view it. I'd be like, well, I am showing like I am being super nice with you by showing you respect. However, like you jump, I'm ready to jump. So, but like I will be very nice to you.
You'll jump nicely.
Yeah, I'm gonna warn you. I told my son this other day. He had a little issue with somebody, and before he had an issue the day before, we were talking about some stuff, and it got brought up, and I said, son, it's like the whole old Roadhouse, remember the old movie? So be nice until you can't be nice.
Yeah.
And so And so and that's what I tell my son. I said, do what you need to do. Be nice, warn them. It's like I said, even a rattlesnake's pretty nice. That rattle will go off, let you know, hey, it's a warning.
Yeah.
I said, be nice to them. Look them in the eye, be firm though. Say it with some soft eyes. Be intent. Look them dead in the eye, and let them know this will not be tolerated. You touch me again, it's not going to end good for you.
Yeah.
Then when they do it, you tap. I said, you tap them out. You drop them. There's no plan. Like your job is to knock them out, tap them out, and then that's it.
Which is really probably kindness, because I think that's the difference between, and we've talked about this before, and what I was writing my book on, but Nikki beat me to her book. I'll get it there one day. Being a nice guy versus a good man.
That's right.
There's a total difference there, but a good man will be kind up to a certain point. Where I struggle with this is not personally. People disrespect me all the time. I mean, I like the fact of there's several different sayings on that. If you wouldn't be willing, if someone wouldn't starve with you, don't eat with them.
That's right.
If someone doesn't have your phone number, you shouldn't worry. If they can't text you a problem that they have with you, then they're not close enough to worry about the problem that they have. So for me personally, doesn't bother me. I have a hard time, and my name actually means defender of the people, so I don't know if that's where it's birthed out of, but I have a hard time when I see a good person being taken advantage of or hurt or harmed. That's where I then want to intervene.
Do you intervene? Like stuff that I don't know of? Do you like send somebody a message, be like, hey, what's up, fool? Meet behind
I haven't
Barlow.
like that, but I mean, I will. I've confronted people personally.
Yeah.
Just the other day, I did something a little more passive aggressive. Good pastor friend of mine was being criticized, and I wrote a roast song on him. But I mean, but that's where I struggle, because sometimes it's not my fight. So, but yeah, don't start the fight, but be sure you end it if you have
exactly
to.
Right.
Yuki. Oh, I'm sorry. GI integrity. Be, and we've talked about this, so it may not be a lot to add. Be acutely honest throughout your dealings with all people. Believe in justice, not from other people, but from yourself. To tell the true warrior, all points of view are deeply considered regarding honesty, justice, and integrity.
Yeah, just being honest, man. Yeah. Even a part of being honest, I think you just gotta. When it comes to this stuff, I think that you. I mean, there's so many thoughts in my head. I just think that even if you got to tell somebody something super hard, I'd rather you tell the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then lie, try to cover something up, but whatever you cover up will be disclosed at some point.
Yeah.
You can only paint a zebra for so long; them stripes won't show back up. So, like, you might as well just like say what you say, even if it hurts people. Let them know the truth. If you got some secret as a man, if you got some things that you're dealing with, you're living like a fake life, you need to get that stuff right, man.
Yeah.
And that would be my encouragement to you. But yeah.
Yeah, honesty. If I find someone has lied to me, been dishonest, I've lost trust. It's hard to trust them. And I'd say the other thing, especially if you're a leader, and all men are leaders, whether just leader of yourself, leader of a family, or of people, employees, so on and so forth, is if you have dropped the ball or you're not leading well, don't pass the buck to someone else. Well, they did that. That's on them. They did that. No, you're the leader.
Yep.
Take responsibility. You didn't lead well. You didn't communicate well.
Responsibility
whatever.
First. Yep.
Yuki, heroic courage. We've kind of talked about this. Hiding like a turtle in a shell is not living at all. A true warrior must have heroic courage. Is absolutely risky. It is living life completely, fully, and wonderfully.
Yeah, you guys already know the deal. You got to have courage, man. You got to have courage to do the right thing, and you got to have courage to not do the wrong thing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's walk away. You got some things you just got to walk away, man, and that's tough, man. Because men, we have a bad problem sometimes wanting to finish what started, which is nothing wrong with, but sometimes, man, we can not want to flee situations and get and leave, but you got to have courage to do that. You know,
it's got to be in you. You have to. Like, it's got to be the root. Like, if I see danger, I'm running towards it. I'm not running away from it.
Yep.
If I see a child trying to be abducted, I'm running towards it,
That's
not
right.
from it. If there's a building on fire and I know there's people in it, I'm running to it, not away from it.
Non-negotiable.
Yeah. Makato, honesty and sincerity. And we just talked about honesty, but when warriors say that they will perform an action, it is as good as done. Nothing will stop them from completing what they say they will do. They do not have to give their word. They do not have to promise. I love that.
Dude, I love that. I'll get. I mean, it's just what it says. I mean, hey, what you say, what you're gonna do, you do. You always come through.
Yeah.
You always come through, no matter what. You never accept defeat. You just make a way. Too many people, male, female, you name it, everybody, young, old, all that, it's easier just to say, hey, it didn't get done.
Yep.
And when it could have gotten done.
Right.
And so something super small. Remember, we were trying to book a camp for summer camp. We had somebody that was on staff with me years ago, and all they could say was, I called them a couple times, sent emails to them, but we hadn't got to them. I said, this is end of camp season. You're not going to get anybody now. So it was just expected that you would do this. Well, I called a couple times. You know what I did? I picked the phone up and called. I got them the first ring.
Yep.
Talked it all out. They sent emails over, and then I had booked the reservation.
Yep.
All because, and they had like 2 months to do it because they were just wanting to do it through like casual. I was like, man, even if you don't have it, I would call them up. Or they're not responding to my text. Well, call them if you call them and email them. Like, you got to figure this thing out. How do I get a hold of people and you can't? Something's wrong with that. But sometimes they just don't want to do the work.
And with that, I would say this goes back to integrity. If you drop the ball, just admit you dropped the ball.
Oh, yeah, I respect you much better.
I've learned I will put 5 alarms on my phone to remind me to do something if I said I would do it by a certain time or that I know there's a deadline and it needs to be done. We had a situation with Hope Church ordering some furniture for our Brevard locations being made into a retreat center, and had not heard from the lady. The salesperson is supposed to be shipped this week and all this different stuff. I was handling that, and it was actually refreshing. I finally got a hold of her, found out when I did try to text her and follow up with her, she was in the hospital, had some medical issues, but she realized that the order wasn't sent like it was supposed to be so it could be paid. So basically there was no order, and she just flat out said, I dropped the ball. I messed up. And that was, I respected that versus, well, this happened and just making stuff up to try to deflect.
Yeah, man.
She didn't do what she was supposed to do. Happens. We're not going to be perfect with it, but she took ownership and she didn't try to blame someone else or shift the blame to some other circumstance. She just said, I messed up. So I really like that, and I think we can learn from that. Last two, Chugi, duty and loyalty. Warriors are responsible for everything that they have done and everything that they have said and all of the consequences that follow. They are immensely loyal to all of those in their care.
Yeah, you take care of those who you're responsible for, and just be responsible for what you do and what you say.
And that is the root
responsibility.
And that's really the root of what we started with last episode. Like, we love our wives. We're going to protect our wives. And even if we have a disagreement, the tiger comes, we're protecting our wife.
We're getting Tony,
that's our
bro.
duty.
That's right.
We're loyal to our family. And then Jen, compassion. Through intense training and hard work, the true warrior becomes quick and strong. They are not as most people, so they're not average. They develop a power that must be used for good. They have compassion. They help their fellow man at every opportunity.
Yeah. It says it's compassion, but through intense hard training work, the true warrior becomes quick and strong. And so, yeah, I mean, I just think that as far as compassion sake goes, we are called to be compassionate. We're called to love the least, the lost, and the last. We're called to be obviously protectors. We're called to take care of those things.
Yeah.
And so we must be fierce in that. We must be diligent in that. We must not be lax in that. And so we must not have fake bravado that doesn't exist, but we just think we're, I don't know, think we're like some kind of alpha male type of thing, because that's a big thing nowadays. You know, who's the alpha? You know, it's like, you ain't an alpha, bro. You're a puppy dog. So, but yeah, but it's through training, through practice, and all that too.
Well, and I love that because it even talks about having a certain strength. Sunday, one of the points of what we were talking about was there being limited benefit in physical exercise. That doesn't mean zero benefit. So I talked about that. and how we do need to take care of our bodies if we're going to do what the Lord has called us to do. Like, we have to have life, we have to have health, we have to have vitality. So I love that point because it helps highlight I'm not physically strong, and I don't put these things into practice and exercise them to grow in them for my own sake, but out of compassion for other people. So I can serve them. So I'm going to be the best that I can be. I'm going to be the best warrior I can be. I'm going to be in the best shape that I can be. Why? Because God has called me to love my neighbor as myself, to take the gospel to them, to serve the least of these. So my life is not just for myself. The purpose of my life is to glorify God, and the way I glorify God is by serving my fellow man. So it's not just to be executed on myself, but it is to love my family, to provide for them, and then those in the community, those in the church family. And so I love that.
That's definitely me right now. Been just trying to work hard. So I can be the very best shape I possibly can be. So if something ever comes, I can take care of my family. I can do all this stuff.
Yep.
But it's like that David Pollack, that video where he was talking about he never could understand people who get married and want to get fat. He said, if anything, you should be not wanting to do that.
No.
And so, which I 100% agree with.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't even go feed the poor if you're bound to, physical, and you're always tired. You're always,
And integrity, you couldn't even say anything about certain things either.
Right.
With integrity.
Yeah.
If you have this stuff.
Well, it's been a great discussion, and I think it's something that we really need to be in tune with, especially in today's society and culture where, it's so easy to be led by deception and, excuses and all of those things, but to really be men of honor and really at the root of who we are, to know like who we are as men. And I hope guys will take the time to really focus on like, who am I and what does drive me? What are those values? What are those virtues? And start growing in those.
That's right. Yeah. Look forward and say, hey, where do I want to be?
Yeah.
Where do I want to be 3 months from now? And then do everything you can to get to that spot.
Absolutely.
By the grace of God. But we always say, get 1% better. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
You got anything, Nick?
That's it. Just like, share, and help spread the word. Go to our website and purchase some merch and help advertise the podcast wherever you wear clothes.
Let's go.
We'll see you.
Thank you for joining the Male Cartel podcast. Be sure to subscribe and share to help other men join the cartel. You can also keep up with us on social media and at malecartel.com.